Good day, viewers. Welcome to Grow Rite. Today, I'm very pleased to have one of my friends, a mentor, a consultant on security matters, and a leader. I mean, somebody who you look up to because he's very motivated in what he's doing. Today, we'll be talking about security intelligence or education. So it's my privilege to welcome Mr. John-Pearse Ononobo. Mr. John-Pearse Ononobo is a security analyst. He's a consultant on security matters. He's a teacher and he's a mentor. Yes, so I don't know if I covered everything, but John-Pearse is motivated in educating young people on how to be security conscious, on how to protect themselves, and of course, to guard themselves whenever they have security challenges. So, Mr. John-Pearse, you're very welcome to Grow Rite. It's a privilege to have you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. Same
just to talk about this all-important topic, I want you to just simply tell us a little bit about security, especially as it regards to young people.
Okay. Well, I will start with, the definition of security.
Yes.
Basically in our country today, security is something that has not been taken serious, even at the top level. When I mean top level, even by the government.
Yes.
We are in a country where we tend to see security as no man's business. But truth be told, security is everybody's business.
Sure.
Even let me come down to our various homes. Our parents sometimes don't really have this understanding about security and what to do to take care and guide their children against crime.
Yes.
And thank you for this opportunity for me to, make a little elaboration and advise parents on what to do to safeguard themselves, their children, their home, and their environment from crimes and threats that surrounds them. So like I said, I'll start by defining security. Security simply means safeguarding or protecting yourself towards threat.
Okay.
Basically, that is what some laymen will see security as. But security has gone beyond just safeguarding lives and property.
Okay.
Nowadays we hear of cyber security, but let me just come down to the children. Now, for them to understand that security is the process of protecting themselves from harm and threat towards their life. That's just simple explanation for the children so that they can understand what security simply means to them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So that's a very, for the young ones, I think it's a very simple but detailed definition. So I appreciate that definition. But I just have one concern. From your definition, you made mention of safeguarding oneself. So, is it just physical angle? When you talk about security, are you just talking about physical aspect of the security? Or are you talking about, is it just about the physical person? Is there any other thing that we need to know about security?
Yes, like I said before now, I said security has gone beyond the level we see it now.
Okay.
Security is not just safeguarding yourself. For example, you can safeguard your environment, you can safeguard your information, your personal information from people.
Yes.
Most times we hear people hacking our phones, hacking our WhatsApp, hacking our Facebook to do all sorts of things. So security has just gone beyond safeguarding lives and property. Now your information still needs to be safeguarded.
Okay.
Your environment needs to be safeguarded. Even your house needs to be safeguarded. So it's not just safeguarding your physical being. So everything around you needs to be safeguarded. So security has gone beyond just safeguarding yourself and just your property around you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So that will lead me directly to the second question. And my second question is simply, why should we teach young people about security? Why?
Okay. Luckily for us in this part of the world, Nigeria, I think it was last 2 years or last 3 years, to be precise, I think the government signed into law that schools should start, offering security subjects. When I mean schools, I mean the secondary and primary section. Start offering subjects like security education. So basically, those in our own axis, that is in Abuja, have started, but I don't know about other states. So that is why we introduce security education. Students will learn more about security. Students will know how to prevent themselves from crime, and how they also know what crime is all about, and what to do to make sure they don't indulge in crime.
Okay.
So for us to go further, I think it's ideal I explain what security education is all about.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So, like I said, it can be defined as security education can be defined or described as a learning initiative that is aimed at reducing total number of security loopholes that are likely to occur around our environment.
Yes.
Did you get that?
I agree. Yes, I did. Okay. And I understand that. Yes, I agree. I agree with you. So if that is security education, who should teach this security education in our system? I mean, you're a security analyst, you do the teaching, but who else needs to be educated? This is just the children, the teachers, or the parents? Who are we targeting this education to?
Every one of them, both the teachers, their parents, and the children. They need to be educated. They need to be security conscious. They need to be security aware. As they need to have the security awareness, so that they can inculcate this into the children, into the school curriculum, and everybody will understand what security it's all about.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. So I'll just jump into the next question, which is, why is security education, important in a child's upbringing?
Like I said, I said it is very, very important in their way of life, like the way to bring them up when you're bringing up a child. Because without security, just like what in security, there's what we call the values of security, which I'm going to explain. One, we have the prime value approach. Two, we have the core value approach, and three, we have the marginal value approach. But I'm going to explain just one, which is the prime value approach. Hope you're listening.
Yes, very well.
Now, the prime value approach says one way to determine the value of security is to ask what life would be like without security. Thomas Hobbes gives the answer to the question, and he states that the effect of life would be solitary, poor, nasty, brutal, if there is no security. So you could see those things I listed.
Yeah.
If there's no, for instance, what happened? Let me take as a case study the Just incident, where people are being murdered every day. Keep seeing people dying.
Yes, pictures and everything.
Yes, that's because insecurity and how to take care and value the life. That is what this that is what security education inculcates. That is what security education teaches. That's what security education is making available for the children to have.
Okay, so I mean this crime value approach, which I understand. I mean, you elaborately you
no, not crime. Prime, P-R-I-M-E, prime value.
Prime. Oh yeah. Okay, so I apologize for that. I was just like, I was trying to connect that. So prime, nice. I got that now. So, I mean, if security is taught at this level, I mean, to the young ones, to the teachers, to the parents, what impact are we expecting? What do we intend to achieve?
Okay, now one of the impacts it will have on the children is when it comes to freedom of movement.
Okay.
1, 2, it will give them good productivity. 3, it will safeguard them from what? From threats around them. 4, it will make them understand why they need to run away from crime. Are you with me?
Yes. So you also teach them what crime is, and then you teach them what security is, And then that means that you give them a whole round information on what to do to avoid that crime and also to prevent them from going into crime. So it's just a whole package.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That is what security is all about.
Okay. So that's nice. One very important question. I mean, I have a friend that I asked, I told I was going to have a chat with you. So he said I should find out that, because I told him that you've been going around schools, so many schools, you've been reaching out to teach young ones on security matters. I mentioned some of the schools that you've gone to and the impact it has gone. I mean, people revealing to you some of the security challenges they've been going through. So he told me to find out from you that, I mean, is there any syllables? Is there any standard method that one can use or employ in teaching young ones about security? Do you have any advice or any recommendation to people who intend to teach their children at home? What are the basics that they can teach their children? Okay, saying from social age to maybe 7 to 14, this is what you should know about security. From 13 to 15, this is what you should know. I mean, do you have any syllables, any templates that one can adopt?
Yes, there is. But I think I will make that available to you later, but not now.
Okay.
There is.
All right.
There is.
All right. So that's very nice. We would like to know. I know you have a book, a detailed book about security, and you have a syllable. So I just wanted you to, say that so that I capture it on the video, and then also let him know from the horse's mouth that, I mean, you have a package to cover that. So in all your experience going to schools, what can you say is your major findings? I mean, sometimes you teach these young people, I'm sure that many of them approach you and talk to you. What areas do you think that there is, quote and unquote, a gap in our system, or quote and unquote, a serious need to be addressed? Where do you think parents or teachers are getting it wrong?
Okay, I will start by saying this. Most of the schools I've been to have a lot of lapses when it comes to security.
Okay.
Now, why do I say this? It is important that every school should have a security policy and procedure.
Nice.
What do I mean by security policy and procedure? Now, if I am a parent of a child in your school, I think I should know what to do when entering your school. I think I should have a guideline on what to do when I'm in the school premises. Now, when you go to some of our schools in this part of the world, the way they entertain people, like the way they allow people to come into the school premises is not just it, because they don't really understand what it takes to be security conscious.
Okay.
Understand? Yeah. What do I mean by being security conscious? That using your mental ability to understand what is going on around your surroundings. Now, most of these schools fail to understand that they need to take security very, very serious. Now, another thing I found out is most schools don't have this policy of lightning. When I mean illumination. Sorry, let me use this. Let me use the security word, illumination. Like most schools don't have at night. For example, when I went to a particular school, I did a security survey for the school. I found out that at night, that it's a boarding school though. I wouldn't want to mention the name of the school though. It's a boarding school. I found out that at night, the illumination around the school premises was poor. So all these things are things you need to take into consideration when you are establishing your school, because you need to take security very important, because if anything should happen to your students, that school will be held responsible. So security should be taken at the high, should be taken so serious, so that everybody coming to your school will be safeguarded and will have that confidence and have that spirit of being safe in your school premises.
Okay, all right, okay. So, I mean, because you just kind of gave us a very big, very bogus, I'll use the word bogus because, of course, as a security person, one will understand it. What you're saying is very large, it's an umbrella for, so can you bring it down a little bit to, that's my colleague who is asking, what can I teach my child of 7 years? Okay, when you're going to school, hold your bag like this, what can I teach those ones, I mean, young ones at home as a parent?
It is called the basic.
Okay.
It is called prevention of crime, the basic way to prevent crime for children.
Okay.
One thing you need to do for a child of that level is for them to know the parent's name.
Okay.
In case of any eventuality.
Yes. Okay, parent's name. Very important, yes.
House, the address to their house, the city they stay, the state, and any of the parents' phone numbers.
Yes.
That is one.
I've noticed that many of my, sorry to cut you short, I just wanted to just emphasize that point. You know, during our interactions in our support group, and there are so many young children. I mean, children at 9, 10 don't have their parents' phone numbers. They'll tell you, I'm sorry, Mr. Ruben, can you please help me call my mommy? Okay, dial her number. I don't know it offhand. I don't know it without. I mean, so I agree with you that their children should be able to call their parents' number. It is a basic requirement. So please go ahead.
Yeah, the second one is the child should be able to have emergency number, which most times in this our country, it's not really available. Just like we have in the Western world, 911, you understand? So those kind of numbers, the children should have it. Even the schools should have it. Like the schools should have numbers of any of the security outfit close to their environment. The number of the police, number of the army, maybe civil defense, so that in case of any eventuality, they can call. Then you teach your children never to accept gifts from strangers.
Okay.
Yes, teach them never to accept gifts from strangers. And you also teach your children. You know, most times when you see children walking on the road, they tend to put on earpiece.
Yes, I see that.
Yeah, it is very, very bad. Because if you're walking on the road, you don't need to put on earpiece. You need to be conscious. You need to be aware of whatever is happening around you. So you need to concentrate. At that moment, when you're walking on the road, at that moment, your mental ability should be functional. So you don't need to be wearing earpiece while Hello?
Sorry, I lost you a little bit for some time. So maybe you can just come back from, I mean, when you're talking about the earpiece, they shouldn't put on earpiece, please. I lost you. I think the network.
Yes. Some children, when you see that, like I said, teach them not to walk with earpiece. When they're walking on the street, they shouldn't put on earpiece because they need to concentrate and be aware of whatever that's happening around them.
Yes.
You understand?
I agree.
Now, you will also teach your children not to walk alone.
Okay.
Now, for example, if the child is going out, somebody should go out with the child. Somebody should make sure when the child is going out, somebody should go with the child. So that whatever that happens, the person will be able to take care of the child. Now, another thing is when the child is leaving the house, the parents should be aware. When the child is going to his or her friend's place, the parents should be aware. The parents should know where the child is going to. Sometimes it might be funny, but it is important. If your child is going to have any of the friend's place, it is important she gives you the person's phone number in case of eventuality. For example, if I'm to go visit my friend, I should make available the friend's number to my parents in case they want to confirm if I am truly in my friend's place.
Yes. And if the friend doesn't have a phone number, the friend's parents' number.
Yes. Then the address to the friend's place.
Yeah.
So these are simple things that our parents need to teach that child of that age. It's 7, 9, 10. So they will have this, like I said, not or accept gifts from strangers, people you don't know. I am not saying don't greet. I'm not saying don't show sign of respect. But at some level of conversation, you don't need it when you don't know that person. Or somebody you don't know comes to you to offer you anything, you reject it instantly. We have to teach our children all these little things to help them grow and to help them remain safe from threats.
Yes, I really agree with you. You know, when we have these support groups, like the one we had a conference last year for young teenagers, Breakforth, and when we're talking about sex education, found out that most of them that were raped or were sexually abused or were molested were either by, people, close relatives, friends, or friends that went to visit friends and things like that. But I just wanted to since you're talking about crime now, issue of kidnapping, issue of rape, issue of molestation, and all those type of crime that we see in our climate. I just wanted to talk about that education, security education, as regards to abuse from the relative the friends those ones that those maybe your teacher or your classmates, or I don't know. Is there any advice for young ones concerning being security conscious, even when it comes to people we know? Because these harms also come to them from relatives, from, it can be so is there anything to teach them concerning, okay, this is what you should do when somebody is trying to do this is what you should do when somebody is trying to do that?
Now, one thing I advise parents is, parents should not just be parents to their children, but be friends to their children.
Yeah.
Now, what do I mean friends? Why do I say friends? Because if your child cannot open up to you, that means there's a problem somewhere.
I agree.
Now, you shouldn't just be a parent to a child. You should also be a friend to a child.
Yeah.
Now, there are ways you can talk to your child, and your child will be free to talk to you when something happens to him or her.
I agree.
But when you're hard on the child, that child will be scared. And whenever something of that nature, maybe rape, or whenever they assault them, they will not have that, courage to come to you and tell you what has happened to them.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there should be this parent and child relationship.
Yes, I agree too.
Yes, there should be this parent and child relationship. We have to teach them things they need to know. Most parents will say, it is too early for me to teach my children some things. Mm-hmm. No, for their safety, these children needs to know so many things.
I agree.
Now, for example, you tell a child that no matter who the person is, whether your brother, whether your uncle, whether your niece, your teacher, make sure the person does not come close, maybe to you. If you're a woman, you make sure, tell your child that you should make sure that your uncle does not touch your private parts. Sorry for using the word.
No, of course, we teach that.
Make sure your uncle does not ask you to pull your panties in class or come close to you to touch your breast. These are things, little things we need to, teach our children. For the boys, you tell them if their auntie is a female, maybe you be careful of your teacher. Whatever your teacher does to you, please be free to discuss with me when you're back home. So these are little things we need to encourage our children. We need to tell them, we need to embrace them, we need to draw them close so that they will be free to discuss some things that has happened around them or within the school premises when they come back home to us.
Okay, all right. So I really appreciate the time we spent talking about security and security matters. I want to say that it has been of, great benefit to all those that will be listening to this very interaction. just one closing remark that I wanted to, ask you to give is to schools that don't see security. For instance, there was something on social media some time back. A man came into a school and then tried to take a child home. He said they should give him so child, that is his child. And the teacher was asking him, sorry, sir, we have not closed, we have not gotten to the closing time. So maybe you should wait till it's closing time to take the child. And he said, no, he wants to take the child down. You know, another teacher that knows the child and his parents, you know, was the person that said, this man is not the father of this child. I know the father of this child. So, I mean, what advice do you have to for parents that don't relate with their teachers, their children's teachers? They don't make friends with their children's teachers. They don't, they just bring the child to school and then they go home. Perhaps they don't even have time. So the school bus takes them home and brings them back, things like that. What kind of advice will you give to such parents?
Okay. First of all, I want to advise it. I want to advise the school. Now, if a parent comes to register a child in the school,
yes,
it is important that the parents submit the passport of whosoever that will come to pick the child in school.
Okay, that's
you get wise. That
yes.
Yes, a passport photograph of the person that will be in charge of picking the children from school should be submitted. The biodata of the person should be submitted to the school.
Okay.
The information about the person should be submitted to the school so that whenever the person comes, if it's not the person who they have the names, they shouldn't release the child. Now, and if the parent wants someone else to come and pick the child, the parents should call the school authority on time, so that the school authority will have an idea that someone else is coming to pick their child.
Okay.
And for our parents, my advice for our parents is there should also be parent and teachers relationship where the parents I'm not saying should, I'm saying must have the number of the teachers, while the teachers will have the number of the parents. Something I advised is one of the schools I went to. Each of the teachers in the class should create a WhatsApp platform of all parents. For example, if I'm teaching in a school, my class, for my 1B, all my students, I will have the parents' number and I'll create a WhatsApp where I can communicate with all the parents on the WhatsApp. If there's anything I want to tell, I can do that on the WhatsApp page. So it will give us this on.
I just lost you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I just lost you a little bit, but I had most of what you said. I mean, you said they should get a WhatsApp page that will have all the parents' information. I mean, so that you can easily communicate with them. Even when you have information that is meant for the group, you can also communicate. I think I got that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So just to say again that Mr. John-Pearse has a very detailed book on security, especially for children, for parents of young people, teachers, a book that has followed government standard for schools and has looked into, several aspects of the book. So I don't know if you can just talk a little bit about it, then tell us where we can get the book. How can we get a copy of this book? If somebody wants to get a copy of this book to read, to get more knowledge, or to also develop his or her curriculum, both as an institution, where can we get the book, please? Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, for now, the book is not yet on sale because I'm still working on it.
Okay.
It's still with the editors. They're still editing some, some part of the book. So, but if you really want to get more information on security, you can join me on you can like my Facebook page, Security in Depth. There, I give whatever security questions.
Security in depth.
In depth, yes,
Okay.
security in depth.
Okay.
You like my page, whatever question you have, I am always available to answer them on the page.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We're going to be sharing that link on our bio. I mean, when you go look at our bio, you see the link to that page he's talking about. You can reach out to Mr. John-Pearse and ask him any question on security that you would want to ask. And you can also reach him through us if you have you want to invite him for a program, you want to invite him to come and give a talk, you want to invite him to come and share his wealth of experience with you, to your parents, to your school, to the teachers. Please feel free to reach out to us, and then we will get you connected to Mr. John-Pearse. So John-Pearse, please, do you have any last words for us?
Okay, the last word I have for our parents is just three. In security, we call them security activities and focus, which is called observation, assessment, and action.
Sorry, come again. I didn't get that. Observation.
Now,
assessment.
Observation, assessment, and action.
And action. Okay.
Yes. Now I'm going to explain it. I'm going to explain them briefly. Now, you said for observation, so one of the key focus of security is observation. In security, parents observe their environment and lay key interest on what happens around and within the environment.
Okay.
That's for observation. Now, for assessment, parents should make good assessment or evaluation about the environment before they move into that particular environment. Because most times, when we want to look for houses or we are trying to relocate from one place to another, we just go without asking questions. Sometimes we try to make assessment of the environment, know how or what is obtainable around that environment before we move in. Yeah. Then the last one is action. We should have an action plan in place in case of any eventuality.
Okay.
I think with this, parents are good to go to protect themselves and their children against threats and violence. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that last words. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much for sharing your words of experience. This has been a very wonderful time. I hope subsequently we can have a more physical interaction, perhaps on a different platform where we can also interact and talk more. But this, I just say thank you again for coming. Thank you for giving us these beautiful tips. And we wish you well in your endeavors. We're looking forward to getting a copy of your book when it's out. I love reading. Perhaps we can review the book in our book club, because we also have a book club. So we can review the book in our book club and perhaps invite you to come and talk to our support group and then encourage us. So thank you so much, Mr. John-Pearse. Thank you so much for
You're welcome, Mr. Ruben.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
All right, sir. Bye.
Bye-bye.